Hey, thank you for joining me. In this 3-part series, I'm going to be giving you 3 mindset hacks that I implemented in my day-to-day life to get me out of procrastination and into action with my personal goals. So if you, like myself, is struggling or at some point has ever struggled with procrastination and you really just want to overcome it and move on with your life, then this is the video for you. Stay tuned. This first video is going to be one of 3, and today we're just going to be talking about urgency, right? And when I say urgency, what do I mean by that? And how can you apply that to this exercise of overcoming procrastination, right? And I hate to say that the first starting point is going to be creating a sense of urgency in your life. For me, I had always wanted to do specific things in my life, but a lot of those ideas lived in LaToya's imaginary land where I would just kind of daydream about them at my job, working my 9 to 5, and I would just daydream about all of the things that I wanted to do. They were passions, and some of them were hobbies, and some of them were actual things that I could monetize into businesses. But I never got out of my way and to get to those actual goals. They never actually just came to fruition. It wasn't until I got serious about my dreams and my goals and started creating a system for myself, a kind of a little loophole and a hack around procrastination. Now, I say a hack or a loop around because the fear essentially didn't go away. And anytime you're doing something big, that fear may always be present. And you may still have to move through while you're fearful of the thing you're getting ready to do. And that's okay, right? We're not striving for perfection here. We're just striving for momentum. So this is going to be just kind of the introduction of urgency. Now, I don't want you to think urgency and become in panic thinking, geez, LaToya, the world's already anxious. We're already anxious written now. Why do you want to give me something else to be anxious about? Well, when I mean urgent, I mean action. So when I think of urgency, I think of that in a way of you taking action towards something. So me creating this urgency in my life when I got tired of waiting on me to come out of imaginary land and into reality and stepping into my purpose, I had to create urgency. That was the first thing that I did. And now it seemed a little bit dramatic, and it was at first, but it was something that I needed to trick my brain to move. And when I started this exercise, I did it for probably about a week, right? I said every night before I went to bed, I said, LaToya, it is now or it's never. Like, you have to do something. It's now or never. You don't have another week. You don't have another month. You don't have another year. You don't have another decade. You have to move now. Your dreams are waiting for you to move out of the way. So when I said that to myself that night, when I woke up this morning, I felt it, right? And not in a woe is me kind of way, but I started feeling like my brain was like, you need to do something. So I said it again the next night. I says, LaToya, you need to be urgent. I created this sense of urgency in my life. And then it continuously over those next 2 to 3 days really started tricking my mind. And those hacks I needed. I desperately needed this urgency hack because it got me moving. And it also did 3 things for me. So when I got out of my head and into a state of urgency towards my goals, it immediately triggered action, right? I knew that I needed to do something. On top of the fact that it triggered action, it also prevented me from stalling, right? It stopped me from continuously thinking about what I needed to do or about how scared I was about the thing. And it tricked me into just moving. Again, urgency to me is equivalent to action. So when I say urgency, I mean action. Creating that space that it's now creates a sense of urgency and tricks your brain to to move. And that's what procrastinators need most. We need forward movement. We can't spend our time ruminating on all the fears and the woes is me and when I was a child and this and while these are valid reasons and we all have a story, at some point we have to get past those things, even when we're fearful, and get to the goals, right? So the third thing that implementing this urgency helped me was reduce the negative thinking. You don't have time to negative think because you've already tricked your brain into urgency. So these three things, or these thought processes that I'm getting ready to share with you, really helped me because I'm going to be honest, prior to implementing any of these strategies, I hadn't accomplished anything. Now, aside of getting up in the morning, going to work, being in survival mode, I hadn't accomplished any of my goals, right? I genuinely was just living life, getting by, and I didn't have what I wanted. When I decided to take control and create urgency, aka action, I actually did the things, right? I'm not going to get too specific about, all of the things that I did to hold me back, but I'll give you a couple of the examples, right? Prior to this, I had always known when I was a child that I wanted to write a children's book. I wanted to write multiple children's books. I wanted to be in a creative space. Just simply didn't do it. So when I started implementing these urgencies, I published my first children's book. For me, that was a big stepping stone. That gave me the momentum to keep moving forward. I also started a small business on strategy. So it was something that I was passionate about, creating solutions for people and helping people strategize their lives, their businesses, whatever they were working on, just get a strategy in place so that they can go ahead and do the things that they wanted to do organized. So implementing these hacks got me to the business. It also got me to publishing 2 children's books, right? It also helped me conquer a fear I had, which was flying, which thus up until I was in my 30s, I had never taken a flight because I had the fear of flying. So when I started being urgent about removing some of these things, I ended up going skydiving that year. So seems like, whoop-de-doo, but for somebody like me who's always been a procrastinator, jumping out of a plane, and I'm a fearful scaredy cat, was a huge accomplishment. And then another thing that happened to me was I wanted to create 2 additional streams of income, just not relying on the work, or while I was growing and trying to scale my small business, I wanted to make sure that I had other hustles coming in as well. So I also created 2 additional streams of income for myself on top of the book and on top of the side business, on top of the job, right? So all of these things hadn't happened to me until I implemented these procrastination hacks. So this first series is really that introduction. That warm up is the urgency, right? That's the thing that gets your adrenaline flowing. And that's kind of what you need, because as a procrastinator, you sometimes need a kick in your ass. And this is simply going to trick your mind that you just got that kick. The time is now. So in the next video, which will be linked to this one, if you want to go ahead and watch it now or later, it's a lot of information to digest. I want you to check it out, because we're going to finish the rest of the series. Again, it's 3 videos in total, and we're starting here at urgency, which gives us that momentum we need to start looking at the things we need to look at. So if this is you and you're really excited about change for 2025, as I hope that you are, let's get the crush in these goals and let's create a strategy that works for us, not against us. So stay tuned. Thank you.